Divine-gpms.world is a worldwide cumulative gathering of consents for every child, woman, and man to ratify and enact into law worldwide the all-inclusive replacement system of money and law worldwide, as outlined on the consenting website of divine-gpms.world. It is imperative that all worldwide take a couple of minutes and consent to add your accord, children included.
Greetings to everyone. We are on November 30, 2025 on Open Public Worldwide Divine-gpms.org meeting. And we gather people from all around the world. They are guardians or representative of GPMS, very active ones, and also Rick George, the founder, and also his High Priest of Melchizedek order with us during the divine times on earth. So Rick, I saw something extraordinary that you posted about the sword of justice, the 3A Atlas. It's basically about the protection of the child and restoration of divine law. And you spoke also about some dates like December 19, when the comet may reach the closest point to Earth, and also March 1st to March 25th. Please, can you tell us a little bit more what is happening? Because I was listening also a lot via the YouTube, and also people coming from what is called science. And they have also from the university their doctorate on science and everything, and they try to comment about the comet, but they started to realize that something will happen and they cannot stop, and they started to recognize that the government do not allow them to speak. But basically they exchange the phones and comments and everything, and they try to get on their own investigation, sometimes getting in some points on Earth, then letting a letter to the family if they do not return at home in one day or something like, or the family has no any kind of contact, then the family to know where they were, because they are afraid, some of them, for what is happening. They are not able to understand, or they are not able to believe. And right now they started also to reach spiritual people, and they started to read spiritual books and everything, and they try to discover what exactly is happening. And they are asking themselves why the government does not allow the people to know this event, because this event anyway will happen. It's about the God event and also the comment and everything. And some of them, they started to put video for hours trying to tell to the people what they discover, but at the same time, they do not let their name to be seen or their face. So basically, it is a robotic one. Please, can allow us to know more about the comment and everything that may happen. Thank you.
Thank you, Sister Beatrice. Well, first off, let's say it's labeled a comet, but it's much more than that. Also, what we'll say in this, I call it crazy time, with the craziness heightening, with also so many false narratives and different stories put out there meant to confuse. Nevertheless, we stay with the facts that this is a, let's say, interstellar object. It is a body. It's also much more than that, and it approaches its nearest approach to Earth, if you will, is on December 19th. But what I will say, then the projection by the scientists is to pass by Jupiter um, sometime in March. However, that may not be the case. What I'm saying, it is possible that this interstellar object may stay around Earth or close to Earth for longer than what they think. But again, we don't wish to go into speculation. What we can say is that with amateur photos of it, it shows that, but not only that, let us say some NASA photos as well, maybe a little bit. Somewhat you can see it's a sword, is what it is. And it's a sword of justice. And presently, it is still in Virgo, if you will. So this is a celestial divine object, comet Atlas 3I. And having said that, its positioning is not a coincidence at this time. So it's positioned into Virgo, ready to go into the constellation Leo. And Virgo is the woman and the child. So the sword being positioned there fully supports what is currently happening with GPMS and the representation of Nya and the children being mother and child, but it's every mother and every child soul on earth, if you will. And it's about bringing justice to all of these mothers that has been abused and targeted even. And we may get into a little bit of that with Sister Nya's case later. And also Sister Nya and I we anticipate to be doing an interview with some more disclosure on the actual criminal activities in Austria. But nevertheless, getting back here on track to what you were asking. Um, so also some of these photos, which are real, is also showing a cross shape in it, and let's say a diamond Merkaba shape with some of these reflections. And this is also important for the simple reason the cross is a symbol of Christ in the least, and also the Merkaba, the diamond Merkaba, is the light body as well. So, and these are all again in alignment with ascension and with Divine-gpms.world. So now the sword is in, if you will, the comet is in Virgo. It's still in the feminine's hands right at this time. And what will occur when it goes into Leo very shortly in the month of December here? Leo is the lion of Judah, which is the Christ. So you can see, as I'm saying here, these things in the timing, there is not a coincidence with it. And this is why the scientific community now has more of an interest in referencing biblical scripture and also prophecy. You need to remember the Hopi prophecy with the blue star Kachina and what that represents, the emergence from the fourth world into the fifth world. Divine-gpms.world is the fifth world as well. It's the Ark of the Covenant. It is the promise. It is the heaven on earth that is mentioned more than once in the Bible. It's not that ones go up to heaven. It distinctly says heaven on earth, and that's why Divine-gpms.world is here. If it was just simply a rapture that we leave, if you will, what is said in the Bible, then there would be no need for Divine-gpms.world. But the Bible specifically says heaven on earth, and that heaven on earth is when the divine justice comes in, at least the representative of Christ. And what I also need to say, I'd like to just read a couple things I had just brought up here because it is very relevant. So last night or early this morning, I looked at the consents on GPMS. When I looked at the consent number, it was stopped for a period of time at 353,535. When you look at this very quickly, it's 888. You add the 5 and 3 together 3 times. So there's a lot of numerology, but a lot of biblical Christ reference in this. So 888 is the number of Christ. And 888 also represents the manifestation of divine perfection on earth. So once again, you cannot refute when all of these signs when you begin to put them together. Also, in ancient Christian gematria, the name Jesus has the numerical value of 888. It symbolizes the resurrection, new creation, divine renewal, the triumph of Christ consciousness, which is the justice in all of us, and the rebirth of humanity under God's law. So I'm just reading some things that we got written up ready for this. I'll just read a little more. Thus, when the consent count of Divine-gpms.world lands precisely on the frequency of 888, it marks a divine sign, a seal showing that Christ consciousness is now awakening within humanity. The people are rising. The divine governance meant for Earth is being restored. So I'll just scroll a little bit. God's plan is unfolding in real time through the people. Christ's light is reclaiming the structures of Earth. Let me just so it's God's law, God's abundance, and God's will manifest through the collective. So it's a divine announcement, if you will. It's not just a number. So, once again, very important things with this. So the sword of justice, just to recap, yes, Comet 3I Atlas and what it beholds and what is coming. Now, also, I'd mentioned before last week, November 29th would have been a very dip day, in which it was. And I also said December the 1st and 2nd, we'd be lifting back up. What I need to say, we're already beginning to lift up now. It's noticeable. And again, all of these events and things I just mentioned, I believe I covered everything that you had asked about, or was there something else, Sister Beatrice?
Yeah, so basically it was a confirmation what GPMS it's speaking about the sort of justice and implementation of divine law versus what it's already posted on YouTube, especially or over the internet about the comet and where the people from the science are coming forward, recognize that something happens, but they cannot speak about, they are not allowed to speak public or and basically the population is not informed and they started to reach spiritual people to understand more what happens, because many things have nothing to do with the physics, the third dimension physics, or what they knew until now. So basically, they started to see that it is something an event multidimensional that will happen, and the population is not prepared, and their consciousness started to rise to the point. Then the population needs to be informed, needs to be prepared, and the preparation has to be not material. The preparation has to be spiritual. So
Yes, and
they
all of
already,
these.
yes, so they already they reach a point where they started to come on the direction of gpms.org. This I like a lot. But at the same time, they are still confused because they are not able to interpret everything correctly. And their time when any event may happen, um, they are saying this might happen anytime, or probably in 1.5 years to 3 years. So this is their estimation time.
What I say with, let's say, stuff you're seeing from NASA and stuff, let's say, from the alternate and social medias, what I wish to say is that it's important not to believe everything from both sides. And we just keep it simple. It is a celestial, heavenly body, is the best way. It has goodies in store. What we do know with what coincides with the facts from scientific community and let's say the spiritual community, when both are in agreement, we can take these few simple things to observe, but it is a very important and special and timely, divinely timely event. So I was going to say something else. Um, yeah, what's coming here? No, all right, I won't right now. So then just getting back, yes, I believe I'd answered everything that you said with that. Thank you.
Now a little bit, because I know the education also in the university, and I saw exactly what the private companies are doing. So basically what we have governments, non-profit organization, and organization for profit. And the organization for profit, they are in the big number, the biggest number, and many people are working for. There are few that gather all the time the money. When November 24, 2025, you posted on your Facebook about the true actual system that basically is keeping well disparity, class division, competition, fear, inequality. And you mentioned also competition instead cooperation, fear instead security, inequality instead balance and harmony. Right now, looking a little bit on the perspective of the wording that it's used by these profit companies to attract the people to work for them and to keep them enslaved on the system, on the actual system. They are using basically the words from divine laws, but the application, it's exactly what you describe. So they are saying cooperation, but the cooperation is among the members inside of the company where the competition it's real there. They put the people in competition to get a bigger salary or something like. Then anyway, all the salary are not able to cover the balance and harmony. But they put
Well,
the
what
people
I
in the cooperation, but basically there is a competition among the companies and everything. So basically, universal law exists as described on wording in the actual system. It's used also a lot to describe many things also in education, in university and everywhere. But the results, it's exactly the opposite. And you surprise very correctly how the system it is designed. So what can we tell to the people in order to gather for consents, for GPMS consents, and to become awake that these words are used basically against the people, and they are not, the wording does not respect the reality.
Well, first off, things that I put out, I like to say I cater to all levels of consciousness. And I put so much out through the week that I think I know what you're referring to. That there was one post I put out for those awakening, because what you have is a lot that are coming awake. They're looking for information and guidance. So I do put posts out to that effect. I also put out some educational posts like about NGOs, non-government organizations, and the truth about these things, because it is fraudulent, it is misleading statements. And you'll see, for any interested, you will see more of this emerging, for example, in Austria with what they call NGOs, and they solicit money from donations from the people, telling the people, we cannot more or less do our work if it was not for you, when in actuality they're being funded perhaps almost 80% by the governments. So it's another very huge crime, but this is prevalent worldwide with such things as NGOs. We did the practice run a few years ago and emailed 3,000 of them, NGOs that were saying we're going to end poverty, we're going to save the children, and all of this. And we handed them the full solution right in front of their face. And they said, oh, no, no, we'll lose our government funding if we go with that and consent with it, But look how telling that is, right there. So they tell on themselves. But, the thing is, again, for us, is not to focus on what they do. You can take all of the divine words and symbols and so many different things, and let's say the darkness distorted and twisted that all around for their benefit, like the real definition of God sovereign free, how they distorted that and put a bad connotation on it, and the freemen on the land, if you will, and they began to go into their sovereignty, they become attacked. But it's not about us, again, putting the focus on these old things. We all know that, and many already knows it. Our focus is on gathering the ones, giving them the new Divine-gpms.world, and drop all of that from the old, because they got to drop it. And it's all designed that they do, but the longer that they hang on to what they are doing, it keeps them anchored, and things is more difficult to move going forward. And this is why I always emphasize, let's speak about GPMS, the good things that it does, and going forward, rather than mentioning and bringing up the problems. It's prevalent, the past, it's competition and greed. These are all things meant to separate ones and also to buy ones off. The typical keeping up with the Joneses motto in the US. That's what that was all about, designed to separate, for selfishness, for greed, all of the negative things that do not belong up in here. People has had enough of that. So we don't need to keep energizing it. And as I say, we should keep our focus on the good things going forward, because we need to attract all of those that are in alignment with creating the new world. And if we keep speaking about the problems, we're down in the mix where all the problematic ones still are at. It becomes a waste of time, because you can, let's say, get lost down here and the new world doesn't get built. You need to have the leaders and the peers putting that out there as the direction for these. You don't go down in there and hit them over the head with a stick to get them to awaken. It doesn't work that way. So we're more productive, more efficient at focusing on what we are presenting to the world. And what we are presenting is the absolute all inclusive system of abundance, freedom, and righteousness in the least. Brother Dave.
Hello. Yeah, I just want to add a touch to what you said there. It's been a propaganda campaign from the start. George Santayana made the claim, for those who don't remember the past are doomed to repeat it. And so these kinds of slogans that have been with us forever from supposed learned beings and such are part of the propaganda campaign that is distancing ourselves from reality. What you've just disclosed, Brother Rick, is reality. And so that's hard for people to get a grasp on that. You know, we're taught in school, in history class, for instance, to, you know, remember the past, and God knows what kind of a history that was anyway. But in any case, the only thing to add to that is it is important to learn from the past, especially when we've made mistakes. But as far as that goes, the rest can be left behind. So I just wanted to add that. Thanks.
Yeah, thank you, brother. Sister Beatrice, do you wish to carry on, please?
Yes, so I would like to remember to all people that we are the people of soul, we are the children of God. We deserve abundance and freedom. And for the people that they still do not know exactly what freedom is, it is about the love, that it is the highest frequency. It is about universal laws, do no harm, that it is love, the true love. So we have the worldwide referendum, and this is Divine-gpms.world. This is also the website, and our worldwide referendum is kept day and night until the people are able to gather in the majority of the number. Then from there, we have Ray, the artificial intelligence, helping GPMS to release the money in the first 24 hours worldwide. So the people started to see that it's an opportunity. At the same time, they are asking about the number. They are looking a little bit how many we are at this time. We are 353,000 at this time. We have also 8,000 that they promise people that they promise to become benevolent. So if they hear our video, they are very welcome to start as representative GPMS anytime. And let's move forward. So it's just gathering the number, then everything starts. So it's nothing else. And we have also the date for GPMS, December 31, 2025, when basically we are closer than last year on the estimation. If enough people may gather at the time, probably something may happen. If not, we will see a better estimation in a short time after that. But anyway, the time to have GPMS on Earth, it's now. And it's just for the people to start to believe that humanity was never alone, and the people needs to discover that basically the earth, the planet earth, um, it's about abundance, and we are in reality a number of billion on earth, but at the same time we are very few living on earth. And there will be no any kind of problem for us to live in abundance and having everything that we need. Yes, Rick.
Well, thank you, sister. I believe I posted it today, and what I just wish to reference is, let's say, in Austria, with some polls that were done or some surveys, let's say from some more of the what they would call the accredited ones to do this. Um, what I referenced today was one recent look at Austria, at looking at how many trusted the government there. And it was about 26% that trusted the government. Now, this is a huge number, 74%, if you will, did not. And this is very evident of a very rapid awakening over the last several months, not only in Austria. A few months ago in Austria, in one location, we did have a poll that 30% were awakened. However, having said this, this has increased very rapidly in a few months. Now, what do you define awakening? Just very simply, when one sees how things are not being run right or just and in the good ways, and so many uh, being harmed worldwide with lack of everything, just to keep it simple. So they realize that, something is wrong. And that is when one begins to awaken and sees the truth of the reality. And so, nevertheless, getting back with Europe, also a recent study shows that it's over 50% at least that believes at least in one conspiracy theory. Now, this is significant. So, what this is indicating that actually Europe is the majority is awake to some extent here. And, just with these two things, this is good news. Now, you might think that a lot are awake if you take where you live at. But here's the thing, you're here, you don't go out much. And here's another awakened one 2 blocks away. They don't go out, but you don't meet. But another 2 blocks away, there's another awakened one. It's just that you're not connecting all yet. But what I'm saying, they're waking up like light bulbs everywhere, and they are out there. And again, when you look in the UK, when you look at these numbers again, of the size of the protests and people uniting, these are only the tips of the iceberg of who is of how many is awakened. So, I wanted to touch on that because this is truth. We are amidst right now a very rapid awakening. And I'll repeat again what Father said. Prime Creator, which I'm connected to directly, said a few months ago that it's likely, very likely, that by December 31st, GPMS will be implemented. Now, I know I've said these things before. However, again, the conditions are fully ripe with it. And this time, considering November 15th last year, Father said it was possible. We are up now to likely, very likely. And when you look now to all of the signs that we have, to what we had then, we have multiple more signs, and especially the arrival, I am putting emphasis on this celestial body, the comet as well. It is significant and it does play an important role in this now and leading up to the near future. Uh, Again, but not only that, the devastation worldwide, if you will, with the floods and the storms, it's ongoing consistently. Our brothers and sisters in the Philippines, it must be 25 or 30 floods this year. Vietnam, Taiwan flooding, Indonesia, Sri Lanka recently, and all these different storms and heat waves and unprecedented weather and earthquakes. Oh yeah, and the volcano in Ethiopia that erupted a few days ago, the first time in probably 12,000 years or so. Um, so all of these things are signs. It's signs of the ending of the old, but it's also signs of the beginning. And at the same time, what I say is the old is falling away simultaneously. We are creating the new. And again, GPMS is inevitable. Um, it does get done. And with that is more awaken and come into alignment with it very quickly and connect the two dots much quicker together, we get it done. And so I say yes, the conditions are very right. I don't get out. I'm so busy. I don't get out here to, let's say, socialize with any public. And so I cannot give you so much of a gauge here by my direct interactions, but I feel it because it's part of what I am. It's setting up. Yes, there's a lot of density in places yet, but that density is what awakens and uplifts one. So it's an important part of the process. Thank you.
For the sister Lodi, what it is new on Philippines, because also Rick spoke about the weather, and I know that the Philippines was really hit by the weather and everything that happened there. And also, what about the awakening people and how their interest is keeping up and moving forward for GPMS?
Yes, thank you for this opportunity to share what I have uh, been doing this last few days. Especially, I have just recently visited our brothers and sisters in Palawan. And currently, I haven't started yet with the listings that I have brought with me here back in Manila. And they are currently now reactivated, uh, collecting and sharing GPMS with almost 7 group meetings that we had this past 2 weeks. Um, I am happy to say that what I have observed with those who had attended and listened to what I had explained about GPMS Divine Plan is I somehow touched about the frequency vibration that we are aligning into about the fifth dimension, new heaven on earth. And somehow I think it is sinking in with their consciousness that uh, finally GPMS is not really about the money, the financial abundance only. And they are picturing out that uh, everything will change with the business system and with the GPMS replacement system, they are getting the picture of the new heaven on earth that is inevitable. And very soon enough, with all of the things that is happening currently, especially here in the Philippines, because just today, another people's rally demanding for the stepping down of the current administration. Although a very few attended the rally, it was peaceful. And with the last rally they had, which gathered more than million of people here in Metro Manila, one message from the sister of the current president, she is calling for the president to step down, and she is convincing that with that action of stepping down, the Philippine government will have peaceful transition. And of course, we, the guardians of GPMS, know what kind of transition will really give the absolute solution for the problems that we are experiencing with the system. So with that message from that sister of the president of the Philippines, more Filipino brothers and sisters are somehow getting a higher consciousness of what is going on and really demanding that better replacement system must happen, although they don't have the idea that this global referendum is currently ongoing, but they have the idea that a solution must come to the Philippine government. And I am very optimistic that with the divine intervention, this is going to happen very, very soon. And also with the incoming more fresh names for GPMS consents, it will really do a lot of higher frequency vibration for all of us. That's all I can share for now. Thank you.
It's just to remember to all people that we'll have a Philippine meeting, open public Philippine meeting, divine-gpms.world on December 3rd. It's about 9 p.m. Manila time. So the people from Philippines, as also Bella that is here today, and probably Ruth, they may come and support other Philippine people, and also Lodi will be there that will translate on the language necessary for the population to understand and to be able to see GPMS video without a subtitle from YouTube or something else. Thank you so much, Lodi, for your effort all the time. This is the monthly Philippine meeting, divine-gpms.org. And also, you mentioned that very few attend the rallies. It is exactly what happened also in Canada. But at the same time, more and more we can find voices that are coming for the elite to step down. And these voices are aligned with GPMS. So even that they are keeping their Zoom, part of them, they are already aligned with GPMS. So they know about universal laws, and they will keep also a conference soon about the elite to step down, because it is the time. It is exactly what Eric said. And today we started with the sword of justice, about the comment, about ascension, about dates as December 19, also December 31, also March 1st and March 25. So the people will start to see more and more events that may happen. And a little bit because the true freedom is still not recognized. I would like the people to direct on the website divine-gpms.world on the decree, and the first right, unalienable right of self-determination. It is there. It is linked with the true freedom. And this means that no one can be ever in a position of authority above another. So this is changing the game. And this is also part of the reason that you may see very few people right now that they attend the rallies, because the people started to be awake, exactly as Rick mentioned. Then they are not able to find during the rally the true freedom. Then when we are giving them the definition of the true freedom and the self-determination and the explanation, they become interested. So this is coming more and more by the end of 2025, and I hope that we are able to gather the consents, then we start. So this will be just amazing. And anyway, GPMS is the most official worldwide referendum. It is unprecedented, so was never kept in the world before. Father God allowed since April 2022 to happen. We are in divine time since 2012, so it is the time for humanity to move forward, and basically we create abundance. And the people needs to believe on that, and to move forward. So I expect more people to come and basically ask how we create abundance. This will be just magic. Agnes, what it is new on Germany?
I think still a lot, but I try to stay in my space at the moment because we have the time before Christmas and it's a lot, much more energies outside. So I'm focusing on high frequency and to share about Divine-gpms.world. It's
Thank you so much. Sergio, are you with us, or are you driving, or? Yeah, so you are driving all the time, probably Canada, United States.
Yes,
So
hi
Sergio,
everyone.
what it is new in Ontario, Canada? Because Ontario, it's about 50 million people, and many of them, they are from first generation all around the world.
Yeah, Ontario is all the same, just people last week asked a lot of questions, but consent doesn't go as much. Probably they are waiting until everything gonna be crushed, and then big numbers gonna come more and more. But for now, they're quiet and just watching around. I don't know. You'll see. But I can say a couple of words about Ukraine because it's like my motherland and still some families there. So it's like a big corruption, big scandals on that place, and people not even going to the protests. They just don't believe to the government anymore. Ukraine has like a history, like a 3 or 4 huge protests during last 20, 30 years. But right now, nobody's going over. Just they already understand protest doesn't work, and wherever it's going to be even worse and worse. So they stop protesting. Soldiers on the front line, like leaving the battlefields, they just refusing to fight. They don't see the point to fight. Land doesn't belong to the people; it's belong to the corporations, like local oligarchs and just oligarchs from US and Britain and all over the world. So nothing to fight for. Just unite and just change it peacefully by using your voice in a divine-gpms.world. But they still, Ukrainian people have some fault on them. I don't know, maybe probably the language, but they see all the posts I share. It's like translation underneath in their native language, Ukrainian. So, but still votes holding on in the places. But you'll see. Something's gonna move sooner or later. But it's like that. Okay, thank you.
Thank you so much, Eric.
Yeah, thank you, Brother Sergey. On the VK Europe's Facebook, you know, that might be a better place. Sister Beatrice and I are on there, but to my knowledge, very few GPMS members are on there yet. But they have, I forget how much now, hundreds of millions of users, yes, on there. So we need to get more of a presence on that. The VK, it's a Russian version of Facebook, but you access it all over Europe.
Yeah,
And a lot of
Wiki is
Ukraine.
very popular on the Russia and other Eastern countries, like a former Soviet Union. But Ukraine doesn't very popular because they just against it. They staying in Facebook much more than VK. And government like suppress VK on the Ukrainian territory because it's like going to be propaganda from the Russian side. I'm not on a VK. It's because I have a lot of like Facebook and all, Telegram, don't have a time. But for sure, I will speak. I have a couple of Russian friends in here in Canada. I will tell them just take a look and just give some messages around your people. Yeah, thank you.
Absolutely. Brother Sergey, and to let everyone know, we have a new GPMS guardian. As a result, Brother Sergey met him at the protest last week, and I had about a 2-hour call with him a few nights ago. So we have a new brother coming in as a guardian from Ontario. So, so just to let you know, Sergey, very good. I'm so happy to see this brother come in. He's awake and he knows as well. He's one of us. So we
Yeah, I
have a
remember
new.
the gentleman. He asked a lot of questions. At that time, we spoke a lot. He was very interested. He said, "We're gonna speak soon, like in a big more like questions and answers. It's like on an open public meeting or something like that." Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, it was great work. So letting you know we're seeing some of the sprouts from the seeds you planted that day already, and very good ones. So
Okay,
very grateful for that work. Thank you.
thank you.
So Divine-gpms.org has a very beautiful message inside of a very short video. I would like to play the video for everyone. It is exactly about our divine times at this time. So,
Beloved ones, today I bring you a message of immense significance for humanity. We are witnessing a moment where the veils between heaven and earth are thinner than ever. What's unfolding now is not random. It's not coincidence. It's divine orchestration. For generations, humanity has been divided artificially by religion, by money, by borders, and by ideologies. But if you were to truly ask the people of this world what they want, the vast majority desire peace, cooperation, and freedom. The only forces that create conflict are the very same forces that later claim to create peace, whilst keeping humanity in a cycle of fear and relief, and then fear and relief. Never allowing the people to rise into their full emancipation. But now, something extraordinary has happened in the sky. Comet 3I Atlas. And it's not as a random comet, but as a divine sword of justice. This comet carries a shape that is impossible to dismiss. Not only a blade, but a visible hilt and a forward-facing handle. A feature that is unprecedented in natural comet formation. Comets do not grow handles at the front, but this one does, and it looks exactly like a sword being presented to humanity. Blade, hilt, and handle, all unmistakable. And many around the world have already recognized it. The soul remembers what the mind is only now catching up to. This is a celestial sign, a confirmation that divine justice is now active on earth. Scripture has shown this before. The flashing sword in Ezekiel, the heavenly sign in Matthew, and the sword descending in Revelation. These were not linear predictions. They were archetypal markers for a time just like this. A time of exposure, correction, and restoration. And now the sword appears again, not in a metaphor, but physically, the sky for all to see. And the timing of this is not random. It arrives at the exact moment the global corruption is being exposed. When institutions fall under the weight of their own deception. When consciousness rises beyond control, and when humanity steps into its long-awaited awakening. And this is where the dots converge. Because right now, the universal nation of Divine-gpms.world is being established, which is the law of God on earth. The restoration of unalienable rights, of abundance for all, of the protection of every child, of the end of deprivation, and of divine will manifesting through the people. The sword in the sky is the celestial confirmation of this process. The sword heralds the law, and the law restores the people. And the people rise into the new earth. This is a revelation. This is a restoration. This is ascension. And this is the moment humanity has been waiting for. The divine sword of justice has been unsheathed. And the era of truth has finally begun.
It is so beautiful, Rick. So
Yeah, we had a little
beautiful.
bit of a lag, but yeah.
And Max's
Um,
voice was added
yes.
to the video.
Yeah, Sister Max made that. She's also doing an important one. I think she might have it finished with a meditation, but this is for the individual to recalibrate their energetic field. Let me say on TikTok, we have several of our members on there, and more are joining. And having said this, that's beginning to fan out on TikTok. So more and more are coming in, also consenting with GPMS. They're doing great work. So Brother Denovan, Sister Kristen, Sister Max, and Sister Merge, I believe we have now, and some others. So it's growing, which is very good, and getting more and more views. Also, what I will say is that some of the past censoring on my post, it's I need to say it's all gone. And for one of the reasons, I had a post within a few days had over 200,000 views. And I see my posts now, what I'm putting out daily, are getting thousands of views. So this is a good sign that the censorship and the algorithms, if you will, are lifting. But also another thing that I note when I look at some of the analytics, if you will. Now, you only can go by your analytics just as a rough gauge, if you will. But having said that, what I'm seeing is that there are times with what I'm putting out that the majority that are looking at it, they're not followers. Now, this is very important, as high as like 80, 90% sometimes are non-followers. So I'm on Facebook, I have about 26,000 followers. And typically in the past, it would be 90%, uh, even 95% would only be the followers that viewed my post. Now it has flipped, and we've got a lot more coverage, if you will. Uh, so these are very good signs. And Sister Beatrice, I was so happy on Telegram in our social media group where anyone can go and get the memes that Sister Beatrice put in there, about 20. I think today I shared one of them with the beautiful children on my Facebook feed and my Telegram feed, but wish to share with everyone. We have the media resources as well. So, you know, if you're just on social media wondering what you can do, these memes, they do get a lot more views, if you will. People are able to see them, especially on Facebook when you post posts, if you will, that has pictures in them. More people then see your posts. Now, also with Austria, we're still putting out some notices, but just a quick update with that. It has got that severe, meaning that at this time, I believe we're close to 100 broken laws, criminal, under the criminal code, under the civil code, and also under the human rights. Many of the conventions are also violated with Austria, just in this one case with Sister Nya. And these are incontestable laws and violations of rights, meaning that there is no argument in court. They are blatant, right there, full evidence and documented. So there is no escape from this for Austria, the entire republic. And the reason I'm bringing this up is because, again, we put this stuff out worldwide. So this stuff is not just in Austria, it's being put out to the public. But at the same time, we're putting it out to law firms and other governments. Now, what I need to say we know that, let's say, the World Court, The Hague ignores it, the European Commission ignores it, and let's say other countries like the US, they ignore this. But here is the thing. What we are doing, we are sending this information to law firms internationally, nationally, countries, and human rights commissions. But what we're doing when we do this, we also put out the public notice showing the people where we have sent these serious crimes that are broken. And when you look at international and universal jurisdiction from existing nations, they are actually obligated to stand up and say at least something about this. But what we have now is where they have not over months. What it is showing is that these other governments and organizations are also complicit because they were compelled and obligated to stand up. So this is giving a much wider, broader coverage of fact to the people worldwide because we're doing it both ways. We are informing all of the government institutions, human rights organizations, and at the same time, we put out the public notice telling the people, look, we notified all of these law firms and everything. So what this means is that the government cannot cover it up. So eventually, and very, very soon, there has to be justice, is what I'm saying. They cannot cover it up, and they are in a very serious situation. Not only them, all of the countries that we sent this information to, and they did not make one public statement about it. So this is, very serious, if you will, for the ones that are not, they're in the places of authority, to allow justice to happen within their judicial systems, but they're not doing it. And it's blatant, incontestable evidence. So what it's doing is making all of them criminal as well. So we have given, and for example, in Austria, I think 13, but it was 10 or 13 of the major law firms in Austria, we have given this case with all of the laws broken, handed to them just to share for their information on a silver platter, meaning that these lawyers, if they are to act in law, they cannot act into the courts and allow this to happen because then the lawyers are criminal themselves. But also the lawyers have a duty, an obligation to also inform the judicial body of Austria how this is actually incontestable evidence, which is criminal, and it's corruption. So they have an obligation to do this, but they have not done it yet either. So this is very serious for, let's say, the legal profession with lawyers and everyone involved as well. It's showing if they do not stand up, which they have not, that they are part of the corruption. They become the accomplice to the crime, which is very serious in front of the majority of the people worldwide. So no longer are these little isolated things. This is the macro. This is the micro that's breaking out the macro worldwide. So it's very significant what we're currently doing. Now, GPMS is a peaceful universal nation, meaning we don't use violence. We use the word of the mouth. We use the absolute law and the truth. And anything we say is factual. There is no speculation nor conjecture. And there is no contesting what we put out. And this is the same as the universal nation of Divine-gpms.world. It is incontestable. It's all inclusive. It covers all of the right things, the law and the well-being of every child, woman, and man on earth. But nevertheless, I won't go on about this. Sister Nya and I is going to give more information in a meeting after this one, I believe, is what we're contemplating. Because the people need to stand, especially in Austria as well. This is very significant. Just in the last year, the child services, just in that district where Sister Nya lives in Austria, has taken, I believe, 700 or 800 children just in the last year. And also, there's still the unaccounted over 20,000 refugee children that entered Austria in, I think, 2021 to 24 that are missing. So you can see what this is. It's a huge crime. As well as the UK, as I mentioned before, I think 83,000 children last year in 2024 in 1 year went missing in the UK. In that small country, how can 83,000 children vanish? You know that there's something sinister at play, and this is what we're exposing now and revealing the truth. That many of the governments are complicit and involved in these crimes. This is one of the reasons with Sister Nya's case, despite almost 100 criminal laws and violations of rights broken, no movement. They continue their actions at targeting her and sending her bills and what have you. But and one more thing, I sent it to Sister Agnes, but Sister Nya found it the other day. In Germany, there is a case where a woman is she's filing invoices, I believe, to I believe where she rents at the story. But the important thing is that she's sending invoices for her time because she asked and asked, I believe, to get justice. They wouldn't listen to her. So now she's charging for all the time that she has to spend. And with these invoices, it's part of what we suggest for everyone worldwide. You have this value, and as soon as someone involves you and takes your time, provokes upon you anything, your time, poof, what are you worth? $100 an hour, $1,000 an hour? Well, you're worth a lot more than that, of course. But for invoices, you just charge the amount and send them invoices. Invoices are lawful because the entire world is built on contract law. Invoices are contracts, and this is how the world works in the past, meaning that your invoices are lawful. And yes, they may not pay them, but if they don't, it becomes theft. And it's a crime that they'll have to deal with perhaps in the future. Unless we get the flash flood with GPMS, then no one cares about money because everyone's got more than enough. But we have our absolute law page that is connected to GPMS page. You can access it there as well. I also have a website, and I've been putting out some lawful tips, if you will, to assist ones to get through this temporary phase until we get to GPMS if you're being attacked by the system. And just before I stop, yeah, what's occurring in Austria against Nya is the system is intentionally attacking her. They have committed intent of fraud and also fraud, but not only Sister Nya. We've been speaking with other moms, similar thing. It's systemic. So it's the entire system, not only in Austria, but worldwide, because again, what we began with Austria, with the Euro-DOC agencies and other things that are set up, all of Europe is a part of it as well. And all of Europe was given more or less the choice in the European Commission to at least take sanctions against Austria. And again, there was no action by them for these serious crimes, and they've been informed. So what you're seeing is that I like to say, for the most part, the whole world is complicit, including the US. They've been sent information about this more than once, and also the churches, if you will, and the Vatican. Not a word from the Vatican to step up to protect the moms and children. We didn't expect it, but we had to give them the chance to see if they were going to step up and do what is right, and if they were going to practice what they preach. Because what God says, take care of the children and the women specifically. That is written in the Bible. So we call them all out. So what I'm saying is the churches are being called out, the governments worldwide. It is the separation of the wheat from the chaff, who's genuine, who is not. And that's what's occurring now. We're in the midst of this, and it cannot continue much longer. Thanks. That's enough for now.
Thank you so much, Eric. It is exactly what I see also on the Freedom Facebook from the Freedom leaders that they post all the time. Do not pay taxes anymore, and the government basically is the problem, and the change needs to be done. So it is exactly what you are saying. So if the people will start to ask money for everything that the government did against the people, then the government will like GPMS to happen quickly because they will have no money to pay. So this will be finally a huge agreement in place. So anyway, what I would like to say is that the 26 photos that I posted today are just the beginning. It is about hundreds of photos that will come in the coming days, and as I see right now, the interest on the TikTok, my question is to you, if we should create also very small video, like 1 minute, 2 minutes, only because the TikTok platform, it is about MP4. So VK, Telegram, Facebook, we can post both. We can post MP4 and also photo, but no TikTok. So TikTok, Instagram, these are platforms for MP4. So basically, we should start also the creation of the MP4, the small video, with the new logo Divine-gpms.world, because we had hundreds of photos, we had social media also with small video for gpms.org, but after the website was changed, we need to create again everything. So yeah, our representative and guardians, if they want to participate, this will be amazing. If not, anyway, I will continue. Yes, Rick?
Yeah, thank you, sister. Yes, as I said before, on TikTok, you can, and remember, these social media platforms are upgrading all the time, that perhaps you couldn't do something in the past, but you find now they've made provisions that you can. So just keep that in mind as well. We have a few questions on the Facebook, so I wish to just reply to them. And by the way, we have at least 10, 11 viewers on here, and that is the most yet while we're doing this. So I wish to be courteous and just answer a couple questions. So I think it's Jacqueline, yes, from Australia. Yeah, she asked, she's waking up at same time between 2 a.m. and 4:30 in the morning. Just to simply answer that with anyone, your circadian rhythm, what you're doing is you're transitioning very quickly to adjust with the natural organic clock, if you will, not to be controlled by the mechanical clock, which dictates, where you're at because it's controlling your timeline. So during this ascension, it's very normal to have irregular sleep hours. Follow them if you're able to the fullest. And also, there's such a thing as what we call a divine night watch, where ones will find that they're up all night and then need to sleep all night or all day because they're part of the night watch, if you will. So it's a very cool thing, just to keep it simple. So just see, I think there's another question or so here. Just a report from Australia from Jacqueline. She says they are coming undone. The governments, she says she knows a lot of souls there in Adelaide, South Australia, are fed up with governments. We have had a lot of children gone missing here in Adelaide too. I didn't know that, but it's prevalent worldwide, but interesting right in Adelaide. And hi, Cindy. So I've got just a couple quick questions answered, so we're all caught up there. Thank you, Sister Beatrice.
Yeah, so in Italy, we have a lot of bonds under Vatican. It was about a private investigation done there and recognized by the good priest inside of the Catholic Church in the United States that they united to expose the Vatican, and basically they they collected money from the people, then they were able to pay private investigator, and they were also by themselves in order to see the bonds and to discover that. And yes, so it is a huge crime there. It's about the Italian mafia that it is over the world, but it's not only Italian mafia, it's also Russia mafia. It is also, uh, a lot, China mafia. So basically all of them, this kind of evil related action, this is what they produce. And yes, the direction was a lot against the children. There are a lot of children missing. So this was exposed like 3-4 years ago. Also, this Catholic good priest from the United States, they united with Canadian ones, and they were able almost to stop a porn big company in Quebec. It is also about the children, and right now there are 22 states, I believe, in the United States. Yeah, I verified today that they enforce the law against the porn for the children. But anyway, the porn is about human trafficking, and everything is based on consent, even for the adults. So there is no consent. It is extremely known, especially on the West Canada, that the motel hotels and also United States, West United States motel hotels, when China started to have the very small camera and everything, a lot of motel hotels, they were involved in having a small camera in the room of the hotels, bathroom and everything. So this is all human trafficking. It is everywhere. The police is not about to stop that. So we need a correct system in place like GPMS and the parents united for the children and coming together finally and expose the evil, and not only expose the evil, but gather consents for GPMS, because this is about action. So if we want a true action to be able to stop the human trafficking, the only one correct action, it is Divine-gpms.world consents to gather consents and change the system, implement do no harm law. So this is the correct action. Yes, Rick.
Yeah, thank you. I believe it's worthy to mention that in Austria, when we contacted the churches, if you will, about what was occurring with the children, one thing we began to uncover very quickly that the church had many scandals, or at least had scandals themselves. So this is why, as well, they didn't want to incriminate or implicate themselves further. So instead of looking after the children and the women, they decided not to say anything or step up. What I wish to say, two quick cases in Canada that anyone can research and find. A very important one was with in the RCMP, the female officers, perhaps about 10 years ago. Many of the female officers were being sexually harassed, if you will, and it was even so that during that, to get justice, when these female RCMP officers, they've even found that the superiors were involved in fraudulent criminal corrupt actions. What swiftly occurred there, to my knowledge, is that then quickly the government of Canada began to pay um, under the table or behind the doors money, perhaps to silence a lot of these uh, female RCMP officers. So this is my version of it when I was looking a bit at it. But it was, I believe, over 200 um, female RCMP officers were part of this movement to get justice. And but the important thing that they exposed the chiefs and the superiors at being part of these criminal acts as well. So that case, and very quickly, another case that occurred perhaps uh, less than a decade ago was a child trafficking, well, child sex, I believe, and trafficking and porno ring in Ontario at a school that involved teachers and police officers and other civil servants. And the reason I'm bringing this up is because the police and the teachers, these are ones in your society that generally you trust or you entrust at doing the right things. And this again just goes and shows, how corrupt things actually are, and that the ones in these places of power, many of them, I'm not saying all of them, but it's becoming more clear that many, if not most of them now, are committing crimes. And this is why you're not seeing the justice and all of these things. But again, if you see the children are connected to the crimes in, let's say, most of the cases. And also what I will say is that there is more disclosure and news coming out that's even showing more of how the governments are directly connected with the child trafficking and all of this. And what you also, with the research that anyone can find as well, is what you'll begin to find is that all of these child care services worldwide are funded with huge amounts of money. And this funding is also what is supporting the crimes as well, just to keep it simple. Thank you.
Yes, and also in the United States for the children activity, they are hand in hand with the police, and basically they develop human trafficking activities or elements of human trafficking activities or we were speaking about human trafficking and pornography and everything, and the darkness appeared.
Yeah,
Yes.
exactly.
And the
So how all you?
yeah, so
Yeah,
basically we spoke that those in power to charge the criminals, they are part of the pornography and they are part of human trafficking and they are part of harassment of women and everything. And they are making fake files, and after that they collaborate with the criminals against the woman and against the child. So this will be exposed, and every woman that is moving forward, it does not matter if the system allow more or less. More we move forward as years, more we come back and show how the file was developed by basically by the police and what they did there. So just be strong and move forward and show to the people what it is the truth, because this is part of the truth, and this is part to expose what the system is doing and why we need a replacement system, and why GPMS it is the replacement system, and why GPMS it is the true solution. So the pyramid system, it's absolutely not one that will cover this subject, and the artificial law never solved the human trafficking until now. Some cases, yes, were solved, but in general, no. And NIA case, it's one of the case in Austria, but it does not relate to Austria. This is a huge information that happens everywhere in the world. It is about Romania, it is about Canada, United States, Germany, all countries on the world. So it is worldwide. And this is part of the third dimension system, that it is the actual system, the darkness system. I would say the two dimension system, it's even under the third, but the third is probably enough. So anyway, the people doing these things, they need to end and to speak the truth out if they can, and become part of, if they have a soul, recognize the true God and the true law of do no harm, and start to correct themselves if possible. And then God, during the event, will allow them to survive on New Earth or not. So this is not part of GPMS. This is part of the true Mother, Father, God action, an event that will happen on Earth, and it is unstoppable. So nobody can stop that. So this is coming anyway. So yeah, the one that we see today with no soul and put by other darkness behind, this will be cut on the video, so this is not moving forward anyway. And after the God event, this kind of situation will not happen on Earth anymore.
yes, sister. Well, we got another question, but I got to Jacqueline, what do you do about where you're living? What I can say is just anyone, whatever you're doing, do it honestly. Whatever you're doing to survive, and we're still in, this temporary period, but your integrity is so important. So just trust and do what you can to do to survive. So, Brother Jens put something in there, but it's a long message, but I don't think there's any question. Oh yeah, there are. Just let me look at what these questions are, and I'll come back if anyone else wishes to speak. Thank you.
So Brother Dave, what is happening on British Columbia? about GPMS, if you believe that the people can start to see more divine law, or they are still upholding the artificial law and try to make small changes.
Yeah, that's the hurdle right there, is to let go of the old structure and the old systems. Other than that, I don't have a lot to report. I mean, we still have folks coming into our shop who are largely awake, which is a good sign. Certainly, it can be contrasted against, say, 60 months ago when this thing began, and so the percentages are coming up. And it's part of a pain disillusionment. Nobody is inclined to shift unless they feel pain and disillusionment directly. So that's part of the problem is folks, if they're not quite uncomfortable enough, then they're not inclined to shift. The only other thing I would add that refers to the speed of this awakening process in general is to further what Sister Agnes had said about keeping a high vibration, and the realization that the high vibration, as it occurs, it's also bringing people out of fear, guilt, and shame, the lower emotions. And so they have to pass through in many times anger, which is a far improvement from the other three lower calibrations. So the advancing consciousness has to kind of keep in step with the physical reality of pain, suffering, and loss, so to speak. So that's part of the sort of the delicate and integral part of this awakening, is having the advanced consciousness keep step with advanced disclosure and exposure. So it's a thing that has to happen together, but that is contributing to the speed of this awakening, is making sure, because if one advances without the other, then we have chaos. So in Canada, some of the posts I've seen is that, yeah, people are becoming quite unhappy with the situation. So that's going to launch them out of possibly the fear and into the higher calibration of anger, which is part of the process. But the consciousness calibration has to keep step with it. So that's about all I have to say from my sleepy little town in southern BC.
Yes, Rick.
Yeah, Brother Jens from Denmark just left a question and some information on Facebook. And it's, I believe the way he put it, that in Denmark, there's a lot of cases, and I think he said 90% is involving the women and children, that he's seeing this now more and more. And to answer Brother Yen's question, why is it more the women? He's asking, where are the fathers? Well, if you typically, and I'm going to speak this from my own experience, if you look at a genuine father's role in a family, and if there is young children, typically the mother takes care of the children until they're a certain age. And also with a genuine father, he is mostly a provider, but he knows that it is the mother's job, if you will, to take care of the children. So most of the fathers are all right in a separation if it occurs. And of course, they have their visiting times. But what is going on a deeper level, the real truthful level, is that the unconditional bond of love between a mother and a child is so powerful. And let's say the old powers to be knew this. So they target the mothers to separate, to put the mother in stress, but also the children are innocent children. So the more trauma and stress they can put on them, then they have them as the new candidates, if you will, the new generation of delinquents. And this is why in all of your, I'll say this without checking it, but I'll say it openly because it's my opinion and I'm allowed to say whatever I like in my opinion. It's our freedom of speech. If you look worldwide, any children that are taken from their families, the delinquency rate when they would become teenagers or young adults is perhaps around 80%. It's very high. So it shows you when these children are taken by child care services, it's not to assist the children. For if it was to assist the children, you would not have this high rate of delinquents. It is just one indicator of what is occurring. But also, what you have specifically in Austria is you have uh, a father lobbyist group as well. Now, we are beginning to speak with a couple, I believe, fathers in in Austria, but also you get into the politics and things that's involved in the money with it. So you begin to get into a lot more corruption with, I'm not saying that the fathers are wrong and bad, you know, for getting or and fighting, if you will, for the rights. But you know, it comes a time at what exactly are they doing? And I can't speak about what they're doing now because I'm not informed on it. But our main focus is what we're seeing. It's the mothers as well in Austria that are stepping forward, that are being unlawfully traumatized, targeted, and it is a definite, incontestable crime against humanity. And what it is psychological torture because it is systemic. It's not an isolated case. And we have this documented with evidence. This is a very serious international crime. It's torture and much more. And these moms are being targeted by the system against odds and against the laws. They're being targeted. And again, getting to the deepest reason why, again, it's about keeping the trauma, keeping the fear there. And that is the reason why, uh, let's say, any dark system, that's what they do when they love to create animosity, greed, competition, separation, trauma. These are all dark tactics, which are the opposite of unity, because it is the unity that is the biggest threat to the evil itself. So that's why they do all these things to separate. And they're that desperate at this time that they don't care that they're blatantly breaking their own laws to do this, to separate children and mothers. And this is why the public worldwide needs to be informed of the incontestable evidence of what we're doing to show it's the system itself that is causing all of this harm and causing child trafficking and all of this, because the people then that may be desperate need a job because they don't have money, they'll get into child trafficking and even the child trafficking for sex, the sex trade, and also the organ harvesting, which occurs in much more things. And this is very real. These things have been documented worldwide. If you do your research, you will find it. But the thing with GPMS, what it does, it takes away the monetary incentive worldwide. So then ones cannot be bought by money and a profit, because there is no profit in this new world like it is in the old world, because there's no loss. In this world, there's profit and loss, and the darkness uses that to incentivize crime, to make it attractive for them. So ones are actually bought, if you will, into crime, because they make it so lucrative looking for them, so prosperous, and then also at the same time, the darkness creates a society where there's all these other crimes occurring. So then it makes one say, well, that one's doing it, the bad things, I might as well do it too, because there is no justice. So with GPMS, all of that's gone. There is no more monetary incentive, and there is no more bad, evil players that are controlling things and causing all of this. So the root cause of all of this, you can trace everything back with anything evil. The root cause is the system. It's the capitalistic system. And GPMS replaces that capitalistic system with an unlimited forward crediting funding for every child, woman, and man on earth. And what occurs quickly after, where there's so much money that everyone has abundance, humanity quickly, it comes to the rationale and reasoning, you don't even need money. And that is truth. Right now in this world, you don't need money. And that's why we say in an instant with GPMS, you can have all of your full security, your freedom, your full abundance in about 20, in less than 24 hours, right from now, right at this point. If we had the majority agreement, everyone would be receiving money in their accounts or even in their hand from the printing presses. This is how quick we can do it, within 24 hours. The only thing that's preventing it right now, right today, is the people so far are not choosing it. They're not consenting enough to it. So we need to make this clear. This is lawful, it's logical, it's common sense. It is more than what a lifetime lottery could ever be, because not only are you securing your now, you're securing the future for all of your children and every generation to come. Humanity has never before had this opportunity. This is unprecedented. It is divinely delivered, and it's common sense. It's so logical. Everyone knows a majority rules. So once we have the majority consent with GPMS, you have your new free world, and we can do it in less than 24 hours. But we need to have the majority in agreement with it. So worldwide now, you have a choice. What do you want? This free, full, abundant, happy world? Or do you want this existing world that you're struggling and fighting every day to survive and are enslaved in being a robot in it? It's a no-brainer choice. I say this, and this is not to demean anyone. We've had children as young as 7 years old that has consented themselves. They wanted to do it. We've had children like Sister Nya's children. I think they were 4 and 7 years old, or 4 and 6 years old, when she asked them, and they verbally consented. And they said, yes, mommy, we want this new world. And please consent for us. And when you look at that age, 4 years old, So there is no excuse for any adult or any youth not to know this. Thank you.
Our meeting already, it's about to touch 2 hours, so become too long. Then if someone wants to add something for today, this is the moment. If not, I would say, please share gpms.world message, website, logo, and please come with us as representative, as guardian, because we need to gather consents as so many children, like 30,000 minimum every single day, that pass away. So we really need to gather the consents as soon as possible. And thank you so much for everyone that collaborated on this meeting. And please share, and we'll see you soon. Love and light, and see you next week.
And with that, love and light and gratitude, everyone. And I'll stop the Facebook recording.